Alright. I was gonna wait to see if viewers came to the stream before getting on with it, but I think I'll just start now. So to any viewers of mine who may see the stream um, and get confused by it, I decided to completely rebrand and change what this channel is about. It's no longer going to be about current events of any sort. It's just going to be more or less um, shall we say, um, looking at one of my favorite fictional worlds, characters, franchises, and putting myself either into that character, as in replacing them, like becoming them, or uh, imagining myself as a brand new character, uh, and then trying to come up with like a story for it. So we had 13 viewers here, one like. Thank you so much. I hope you'll all enjoy the content that I produce from this point forward. Please feel free to post any questions, ask anything. If you're a current viewer of mine and you're a bit confused about what's going on here, please feel free to say so. And let's see if we can get those likes up. The Iron Man picture that I've chosen for my profile image is not going to be permanent. It's just for right now. I'm going to go with something a bit more unique. Hello there. I apologize if I'm mispronouncing your name. Is it Lady? Very happy to have you here. So, okay. Oh, you're from France? Oh, awesome. Well, are you from France or like me? Do you live there or? Well, I'm sorry. That's probably a stupid question. But that's awesome. Once again, happy to have you here. Okay, so I'll more or less start like this. I consider myself to be a pretty big Iron Man fan. So much so that I'll sometimes imagine what it would be like to be Iron Man. Maybe not so much like have his more serious flaws, but to be in those Iron Man armors, to be flying around in them, fighting the bad guys, this and that. Hello there, Neo. Welcome, welcome. I apologize if you don't understand. I'm not the best when it comes to explaining things. I'm kind of all over the place. But This channel is now going to be about, let's say, going on a bit of a journey. Um, in every stream, in every video, um, I'll be choosing a favorite series of mine, of a favorite franchise of mine, and coming up with a story where I'm a character within it. And sometimes it'll be an original character that's a fictionalized version of myself. Other times it'll be me as if I was an already existing character. So, for example, what if I was Batman? What if I was Iron Man? Um, and what sorts of things might I do differently? Um, and just the idea is just to have fun with it. Um, I apologize. What do you mean by do I know the reunion? Can you elaborate? Um, and so as I started saying, I consider myself to be a pretty big fan of Iron Man. I want to also thank everyone for leaving a like, bringing me up to 3. Thank you so much. I hope we can go higher. Um, and because and it's mostly because I kind of feel like Tony Stark in some ways. I'm no billionaire. I'm not rich. I'm not an engineer. I'm not a scientist. I'm not you know successful by any stretch. But we've both we've both had struggles. We both have a strong desire to do good. We both want to learn from our mistakes. I can be snarky just like he can. Um, and I just feel like I have a connection to him. He's one of the heroes that I feel connected with. We're also both futurists. We both want to see technology being used to better people's lives, to improve the world, um, for a variety of purposes, not just be used to build bigger and better weapons. And from that, I think a lot of people can actually learn a great deal from Iron Man because of his stance on technology and what it's used for. Um, no, I also feel a bit of a connection with Batman. Uh, but for different reasons. I'd say I connect more with Tony than I do Bruce because how should I put this? Bruce is how I kind of am. Tony is how I want to be. And let me explain what I mean by that. Um, like Bruce, um, I tend to have a darker outlook on things. But also, like Bruce, I have a strong desire to want to see the world become a safer place. Um, I'm not going out there and fighting crime and actually doing anything about it because I'm not capable of that. But I have that strong want for justice to be served, and for people to be able to feel safe. And I'd say that Iron Man is that way too. It's just he seems much more focused on the long term than Batman, because Batman is more of a crime fighter. Um, he goes out all the time trying to stop crime, trying to bring criminals to justice. Iron Man, and by extension, a number of Marvel heroes, they don't really do that. They really only get involved when it seems most necessary. Like, Iron Man is not going to fly out to help the police deal with, say, a bank robbery. He's not going to go out of his way to do that. Um, he's there to deal with bigger threats. Um, Ones that would more or less threaten like the entirety of the city or maybe even the world at large. Um, and then to also spend his days working to improve technology, use the technology, the know-how, and the wealth that he has to build better sources of energy, cheaper sources of energy, that whole thing, that whole deal. But with Batman, as I said, he's more of a crime fighter. He does use his money to improve the city, but Tony seems more focused on building a better world because he's not constantly fighting crime. He's only, once again, dealing with the big fish. Um, Spider-Man's more like a DC hero than Iron Man. Is more of a functions seems acts more like a DC hero than a Marvel hero because he goes after every crime he's aware of. Like he tries to stop every criminal. Um, and quite honestly, if law enforcement is outfitted well enough, there'd be no need for superheroes to get involved. Um, if Bruce would invest his money into better equipping the police and um, helping, to give them helping them with funding so they can hire more officers and also gain access to better training, then he might not need to go out every single night and try and take on every criminal. He might just wait until he's absolutely needed and then get involved. Um, but they're both, well, I would say they're both symbols of hope. Batman more so because he's more of like a hero of the people, and Iron Man is more. I would say that people do have trust in him, but he's more of a he's more in the background. Even though people do, well, at least in the MCU and probably other continuities, know that he is Iron Man. With Batman, the vast majority of people do not know that he's Bruce Wayne. Um, but he's also, but ironically enough, Batman's also more of a public figure. Even though we do see Iron Man mingling with people, partying, and speaking with people, he still feels more like a recluse. He's in the lab. He's working on something new. He's trying to enhance the technology that goes into his Iron Man armors for future threats that might be too powerful for him at the moment. Um, but Batman doesn't really do that. I know that in the comics, he has his armors and that sort of thing. I've never really cared for that because once again, why should Batman have access to military grade suits when he's a vigilante that defends a city from mostly from common thugs and like bank robbers? Tony Stark was an engineer who designed weapons for the military. Going from that to building cybernetic armor suits through which he can use to, you know, defend people, that makes a lot more sense to me than Bruce Wayne just, have more or less having the same thing. Because I mean, what is Batman? He's a detective. He analyzes crime scenes and that sort of thing. Uh, so yeah, that's why I really don't like the idea of Batman having access to military grade suits. Um, it just doesn't feel natural. Um, since this is a stream, it's just me basically rambling. So I apologize for that. That there's not really a focus here. Um, when I do the streams that have more of a focus, I'll try harder to stay on topic and not um, talk in circles. Um, at this point, I'd like to ask anyone who's still here, anyone who's watching, please give me some suggestions for uh, heroes you'd like me to do videos on, or like shows and movies and whatnot that you'd want me to do videos on. Like what heroes would you want me to do videos where I'm imagining myself as them? What movies, what shows, you can even use games, would you want me to put myself into and then try and tell a story about it? I'm probably going to stick with comics for the time being until I build a bit of a fan base, gain subs, gain viewers, and then maybe expand outwards after that. Now to try and answer some of the posts that I hadn't addressed. Neo, if you're still here, I don't know what's going on, but I hope everything is okay. Even if I wanted to, I couldn't help you do that because I'd need to know where you live. I'd need to know who you are. Um, and for all I know, you could be in a completely different country, as well as state. Um, from me. Uh, to Matthew Caffrey, I don't know what you mean. Are you saying that because I've been away for quite some time, you thought that something happened to me? Um, I also don't know what you mean by uh, you think I could reshape the world. What do you mean by that? Oh, and if I hadn't said so already, um, the name I'm going with now is not going to be is going to be changed in time. It'll be probably be Black Angel fiction instead of what it is now. I went with inserts because it was meant to show that I'm inserting myself into the role of either an already existing character or um, a reimagined version of myself. Um, Sorry for the silence, just trying to gather my thoughts here. I'll probably also do videos about villains because, like most people, I'm sure most people have from time to time thought about what it would be like to be Darth Vader, what it might be like to be Magneto, what it might be like to be Lex Luthor, Darkseid, heck, maybe even Voldemort. Um, and when I do talk about swapping myself with existing characters, I'm gonna look at it from the perspective of what do I think could make them better? Not objectively, but just my opinion on what I think could be done better. Like for example, I've already mentioned Iron Man. One change would be that would be his struggles with drinking. I'm not an alcoholic. I've never had problems with alcohol consumption. So that would be a major change. Um, It would probably make me a lot less isolated. Um, I wouldn't have as many inner demons, so to speak, to fight against. I also feel like I wouldn't keep the Iron Man technology or Stark tech in general completely to myself. Because I believe that I would want to try and outfit um, members of law enforcement and even the military to better protect them and better defend the country and its laws. Um, that doesn't mean that as Tony Stark, that I would build everybody an Iron Man suit, but I would probably give them like inferior versions of that tech because I would still want to make sure that if something bad happened, like I could make sure they wouldn't pull one over on me and try to take it all. Um, like Tony Stark, I don't actually trust the government. Um, like I wouldn't be like, hey, take it all. It's there's no problems here. No, I know that as with anybody, if you give advanced technology to someone, there's a chance that they might try to misuse it. Um, or turn it into something nefarious, which it when it wasn't originally intended to have been so. Um, for Batman, something that would be much different is the fact that I don't have the losing my parents tragedy. I have lost a father at two because I had two. There were two men in my life who I saw as father figures. One, my stepfather. I kind of saw both of them in that sense. But my mother's still alive, and I still have a family. Um, so I'd have to think up like a new reason for why I would become Batman. Why my version of Bruce still becomes Batman, and how the differences change his psyche and how he maybe even fights crime. Um, Another thing that would be different is that I would want to train others in my ways. Because for one thing, I'm only one person, and you need more than one person to have a greater impact. So now I know that there's something called, I think it's Batman Incorporated, where he has like a whole organization of like Batmen, so to speak, and Batwomen. But what I'm referring to is like contacting Commissioner Gordon and saying, I want to train your officers in some of the tactics I use so they can better fight crime. Um, I want to help them understand criminal minds better, right? Like, I want to teach them my. I don't want to say teach, because this isn't the right way to say it. Not teach them my detective skills, but help them look at crime scenes in a similar way that I do. I would probably even take on more proteges. Like I'd start with Dick Grayson. I'd then go on to train, probably Tim Drake and Jason Todd. But there wouldn't be a Damian Wayne because I'm sorry, but like, even though I understand the attraction between Bruce and Talia, for somebody who's so obsessed with doing the right thing and like fighting for what's right, there is no reality in which he should end up with someone like her. So if he had a biological son, the mother should not be someone like Talia. I think it would make a lot more sense for Damien's mom to have been Selena Kyle, and also for his name not to be Damien. Because at least with Selena Kyle, she's got pretty strong morals. In most cases, from what I've observed, she's an animal rights activist. Most of the crimes she commits is to protect animals. So yeah, there'd be no Damien. I never thought there was a need for him to have a biological son because Dick, Tim, and Jason are all his sons. Like, he took them in, he raised them, he became their father, more or less. Why did he need to have a biological son? Especially one that was raised by the League of Shadows. If Damien was going to become a villain of his in the future, then it would make sense. But yeah, in short, I've never cared for Damian Wayne. I think he's one of the worst things to ever happen to Batman. Other things that would be different, with my version of with my meaning, my version of Batman, me as Bruce, would be utilizing technology more. I know that sounds a bit hypocritical because I went on a huge spiel about me not liking Batman having access to military grade technology and so on and so forth, but that was mainly from the perspective of him being like a genius engineer as well as an expert detective. Like, just keep him an amazing detective and have someone else build the stuff for him. Continuing on with this, I'd invest in technology that would protect me better. If anyone here's seen that one animated Batman movie, I think it was called Gotham Knight. He had a device, I think it was attached to his belt, which projected some kind of a force field that could deflect bullets. He ultimately decided not to use it because there was a chance that the bullet could ricochet and hit an innocent bystander. However, like, while I get that and it makes perfect sense, I would still try to find a way to utilize that without it harming someone that might be in the vicinity. So my Batman suit would probably be more technologically based, like the Batman Beyond suit. And it would be much earlier on. I'd probably even wear more of a helmet than a mask. Complete with a filtration system so that I, don't have to worry about breathing in poisonous gas. It'd probably look more like a knight helmet that's bat shaped. Like, a mixture between Batman's mask and a knight's helmet. Um, but not made out of metal. It'd be made out of a material that's more akin to like a motorcycle helmet, like a mostly plastic. Um, like it'd be protective, but I also wouldn't want it to encumber my movements. Which is what a metal helmet would do. Um, and what other things? I wouldn't try to go after every criminal. I would only go. Sorry for that. That was a weird accent I just produced there. I would only go after the ones that truly require my attention. So, like members of Batman's Rogues Gallery. Anything else, the police should be able to handle. And if they can't, then I would step in. Like if they need my help, yeah, then I'd step in. But otherwise, no, I'm not going to be responding to an emergency where two guys just robbed a jewelry store. No, I don't think that's a job for Batman. That's a job for the police. Um that's kind of it for right now. I'm sure I'll think of other things that I would change. Want to think back. I want to get back to Iron Man about and think about what things I would maybe change about myself if I was Tony Stark. I already addressed the problems with alcohol. Um, and what he does with his technology, how much he shares of it, how much he doesn't. Um, it's difficult because almost anything you could think of, Tony Stark pretty much already has when it comes to advancing his technology. Um, mm, I don't know. Maybe I would tinker with magic a bit. I know that at that point you're pretty much not Iron Man anymore, but I know that in the comics he's been given access to the metal that's used to make Asgardian weapons, and that would count as a magical material. So maybe like building more armors for certain situations. I know he already does that, but like taking it to the next level. So um well, I guess that's a moot point because he pretty much already does that. Yeah, I really can't think of anything else that I would change about my version of Tony Stark because I've pretty much already addressed that. I don't take issue with really anything else about his character. Well, I'd probably improve the relationships he has with the other Avengers. This might just be an MCU thing. Again, my knowledge on the comics is fairly limited. I've read some Iron Man, but not much. But I would probably try to have more like healthy relationships with the other Avengers, especially Cap. Um, I would also most likely build them like an Iron Man type of suit to use for really dangerous situations. Uh, Especially the ones that are more so human. So Thor, he wouldn't really need that. Uh, but like Spider-Man, like yeah, his spider sense makes it so he can avoid most types of danger, but he can still be hit. And obviously Captain America, right? Like his shield can't block everything. Mm, and I guess that's it. Um, 'Cause I just can't think of anything else. Well, okay, here's another thing. As Batman, I would make sure that I get like at least 7 8 hours of sleep. I understand, it's the comics, the whole, micro sleeping, blah 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 blah. But for a hero that's all about being like at his absolute peak, you can't be at your peak if you're not sleeping well. And again, I understand the obsession with wanting to be available in case something happens, but that's why you take it in shifts. You have the Robins like take over for you. Maybe you even have um maybe you even allow them to like wear the Batman suit, right? I mean, um or you just work to find more people that you can trust, younger people that you can trust, and you train more Robins. Oh, and I know he has used jetpacks. I would probably use a jetpack um more often instead of the grapple gun. Because for one, he's Batman. Bats can fly. That could make a lot more sense for him to have some kind of propulsion system or some kind of device that allows him to actually fly. And then instead of the cape, have like wings, like under his arms, like make him look kind of more like a Batman. Um, Because while he can run along rooftops pretty quickly, being able to just fly over buildings is going to get you to where you want to go a lot faster. So I guess his suit would kind of look like a combination of Firefly and well, I mean, of course, there's the Batman Beyond suit, but it wouldn't be rocket boots. It would be like thrusters or something built into the back of the suit. Think sort of like Turbo Man, I guess, from Jingle All the Way. Apologies for that noise in the background. If you heard it, that's my cat sneezing. Anyway, so with all that being said, I think I'm gonna end this stream. Please feel free to post any comments after it's been uploaded. Feel free to give suggestions, give criticisms. If you like this video, if you like this stream, please consider leaving a like and subscribing. And I hope to see many of you in the next one, and hopefully even more. And so, with that being said, do take care of yourselves and have a great day.